Hello and welcome to Ginny's Gin Livestream. I'm Ginny, and along with my husband Rob and our dear friends Amy and Jeff Close, we founded Ginny's Gin back in 2016, Twinkle of the Eye, 2017, it actually became something. So for us right now, November, we've had a cold front come in, which is great, and we've even received a sprinkling of rain, so we're all very happy about that, obviously. And you know, with the November weather, obviously our thoughts turn to fall dishes. I made a gumbo last week, which was kind of fun, you know, so with the colder weather and the darker evenings, we obviously transitioned to the fall foods. So the cocktail that I'm actually going to make today is a request from Audrey Bush, who lives here in Santa Rosa. And they have a persimmon tree, and of course in November persimmons are fully in season, so she's got all these wonderful persimmons on her tree. So she wondered if there was a cocktail that she could make for Thanksgiving using her persimmons. So I've done a little bit of research and come up with something, but you know, as always, you can adjust yours to your taste and what have you. So this is just a one particular cocktail, and maybe I'll come up with another one. And then as we move forward into the holidays, we'll come up with a couple more Thanksgiving cocktails. And then for the holidays, for Christmas, we always have fun with some of the red berries, and we'll do some fun celebratory cocktails for the holidays. I think we're all excited about that. It's probably not going to look quite the same as it might have done, but anyway, we'll make the best of it, and we'll make some great cocktails. So this particular cocktail, the way that you're going to incorporate a persimmon into your cocktail, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. You can simply make a simple syrup, and that would be 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, and then 1 persimmon sliced, without the leaves obviously, and then just boil it for several minutes, take it off, let it steep for a while, and then let it cool down and strain it, and that's your simple syrup, which you would use as you would any other simple syrup in a cocktail. So that's pretty easy, and that's a nice way to get the flavour of the persimmon in there. But I did a bit more research, and I came up with this one that I thought was a bit more interesting. So it's a caramelized persimmon puree, if you like. So what you do is you take, I think I had 3 of these, and I quartered them. I took the leaves off, obviously, quartered them, and then I tossed them with maple syrup, a tablespoon of maple syrup, a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I also took a little bit of sea salt, about 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then some fresh sprigs of thyme, which we have in the garden. And so toss that all together, and then put it onto a baking sheet, and then roasted it it took about 50 minutes at 375. And you'll know when they're done, they'll be soft and bubbly, and once they've cooled, when they come out of the oven, then you can put them in a blender. So they're caramelized, and they will be caramelized. Put them in the blender with 1½ cups of water and about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then just buzz that until it's nice and smooth, and you come up with this wonderful caramelized puree, caramelized persimmon puree. And I did strain it quite well, because you know, when you're making cocktails with it, you don't want it to have too much schmutz in there, so I double strained it. So there it is, and it actually, yeah, and it really smells and tastes like fall, because you know, with the cinnamon in there as well. Yeah, it's wonderful. It smells like Thanksgiving. So that's the puree, or the syrup, if you like, that I'm going to use in this particular cocktail. And I looked around for some different things, and I sort of adapted other people's recipes. But the one I liked the best was the persimmon ginger gin fizz. So I've done gin fizzes before, obviously. Well, this one's going to actually have a persimmon flavour to it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of orange bitters from Flora Luna in Petaluma. Thank you, Phaedra. All right, so let's see. I'm going to start out with 2 ounces of Ginny's gin, which now appears on the shelves at Rayleigh's and Nob Hill and Bel Air. So this week and next, you know, as we go up to the holidays, I'm actually going around, and I'm in the North Bay area, and I'm going to visit some of the wine and spirit stewards that are in charge of those spirit sections, and just introducing myself so that they can know that there really is a Ginny behind Ginny's Gin. Okay, so 2 ounces of it. There we go. It's actually good to get back out on the road. It's not quite the same, but you know, we'll do what we can. So 2 ounces of ice cold Ginny's Gin, and 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. I'm going to put that here. There's my lemon. There we go. And these are nice juicy lemons. Right, we're going back into lemon season, into citrus season now too in the winter months, so that's kind of cool. Alright, so 3/4 of an ounce. There it is. Nice and juicy. Make sure there are no pips in there. And there's 3/4. Alright, I only needed half a lemon for that, so that was easy. There's that. And then 1 egg white, which I have already extracted. That's a nice big one. I always get so these particular eggs that I buy, what's the name of the eggs that I buy? And I buy them all the time. And the reason that I buy them is they're on the shelf like this. They're all, you know, there's so many different eggs. But it says, buy me, I'm local. And I'm like, I just love that. I love marketing, I love advertising. And I just thought that was such a great thing. I'm like, of course I'm going to buy you. That was, yeah, so the Rock Island. And I just love the fact that they were like, buy me, I'm local.
Fertile, extra large, double A.
You know, they did it for me. All right, so there's the egg white. And then after that, I'm going to do these, well, it's not simple syrup in this case, this is the persimmon, you know, the, what do you call that, caramelized persimmon. So, and I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce of that as well. So there you go. So the same amount as the lemon. Again, you can play with how sweet you want it or how unsweet you want it.
Here you go.
Oh, there you go, perfect. So it's interesting because it's getting darker earlier now, so we don't have all the light normally that's shining in from both windows, so it's a little darker, but hopefully you can see what's going on. There we go. And that. Okay, and it's a gin fizz, and it's got an egg white in it, so obviously we dry shake it first, which is what I forgot to do last time. So we dry shake it, and then I'm going to add ice and shake again. Yeah. And they do say that you're supposed to shake for a minute. That's a really long time to be shaking.
I don't think you need to.
Crazy, huh? So what we're doing is we're emulsifying, you know, and we're getting all of the ingredients nicely shaken together. And here's my exercise again. So I don't know what you guys are all doing for Thanksgiving. You know, I mean, I don't think it's going to be the larger crowds that we can sometimes be used to, especially with some of the older generation. But hopefully you'll make the best of it and still have some fun.
The frothing agents in the egg whites, they froth more at lower temperature. So that's the idea, to get the froth in, chill it down.
There you go. Did you hear that? And we'll do one, two, and one more. Do this track. Rob's this the sciencey one. Right, honey? Now we're going to shake it with ice. Okay. It's a pretty colour. I don't think I need to double strain it. Okay, here we go. Alright, so take my time here, keep that out of the way. Okay, so gin fizz, here we go. Where's my straw? Oh, here it is. Found it. Strain off. I don't think I'm going to double strain. I don't think because I already pre-strained the.
Too much.
Yeah, look at that pretty colour. There we go. About to there. Bit more. And then, you know, with the gin fizz, you top it with club soda. But with this particular recipe, because of the persimmon, it calls for ginger beer, which is kind of fun to have a little bit of the ginger that goes nicely with the persimmon. But if you're not a ginger person and you don't like ginger beer, then just go with club soda and just top it off with club soda, and that's totally fine too. But I think I'm going to do the ginger beer. There we go. That's it, and not too much, because when we were playing around yesterday, it was a little overwhelming, the ginger beer. And maybe this is a particularly strong one. Could be. So just a tad. A little bit of ginger beer. Bring up the... There we go. All right. And because it was a little thyme when I caramelized the persimmon, I'm going to put some thyme on there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the persimmon and put some in there too. Oh, look how pretty. It's very thin. Maybe should I do it on the side? Yeah.
Do this there.
I'm going to do that.
That's the trick with that.
There you go. Is that cool? Yay! All right. So I'm calling this caramelized persimmon
Time.
Ginny's Gin Fizz.
Time.
With some time. Okay, so there it is. Pretty colours, and it really, really does. It really tastes like fall, tastes like Thanksgiving.
It looks like fall.
It does look like fall, yeah. So Rob's cocktail today is very exotic, and it's going to transport you to Thailand. I have been there myself, backpacking and doing crazy stuff there, as you do in Bangkok. So take it away, Rob, with your Thai cocktail. I'll put this over to the side. There you go.
Okay, hi everybody. Okay, so I have a couple of fun ingredients. One is, I'm not sure if you say rambutan or rambutan, or how you exactly pronounce it, but these are rambutans. And they're kind of like lychee, but actually now that I've eaten them, they're really not. They almost taste kind of like white grape.
They look like COVID-19.
They're very, they look like COVID. They're the COVID symbol. So anyway, when you buy them right now, they showed up in the Asian markets like a few weeks ago, and we have a particularly good one here that we shop at. And when the little hairs, which have little yellowish green tips right now, turn black, then it's getting kind of old. But these are really fresh. And just for fun, I'll show you how you peel one. You just kind of go down one side with a knife and score it like that, and then the peel comes off. And inside, I'm just going to peel half of the peel off just so you can see, but then that's what it looks like inside, and inside is a little pit inside the white part, and you want to eat all the white part and not the pit. So then now you can just slice off the little white bits. And so I've done that in advance. So I have a little thing, and the drink that we're going to make, I found in Serious Eats, which is it's a cooking recipe website that I really like. Solid recipes, and then they do have a cocktail section. But I was looking up rambutan because I thought it was a cool fall like Asian ingredient, and there it was. So so this is going to have lemongrass, rambutan. It's going to have galanga, and galanga it looks like this. And it's in the ginger family. Like if you eat green curry and it has that beautiful perfume, like made from scratch kind of curry, that's the galanga root. And it's similar in heat to ginger, but it has this incredible floral character that you just don't get with ginger. And I like green curry that has that in it. So we're gonna put a few, they say an inch of this for one drink. And I'm making a drink and a half, so that we can fill a full glass. Our tolerance has also grown quite a bit. So yesterday when I did it, I used a full piece like that, and I found it to be just slightly too much. So I backed off a little bit today with like maybe about a ½ inch, which is like just 3 slices. And we're just gonna drop them down into the bottom of the tin. Cut them in some manageable little pieces. And then we're gonna take a piece of lemongrass, and this came from our garden. And I don't know if everybody knows where the good part of the lemongrass is, but it sits right about from there to there. And so if you were to take a piece of lemongrass and then cut it long ways, just so you could see how you're cooking with lemongrass. So if you see here, you see right about there, you can see the root ball. And so from there up is the part that you discard. And what you keep is this part that's really tender and has this beautiful light pink color. And this is, I've already peeled the outside shell off, so this is like all good. So I'm just gonna put these couple of pieces down in there, and I'm gonna muddle those really strongly as well. And then we're going to include in there some Thai basil that we just kind of pulled out of the garden. And the recipe calls for, 4 leaves for 1 drink. So, okay, so, 6 for this drink and a half that I'm making. But I found that I loved the basil in there yesterday, but a little bit more than they call for. And these are really small leaves. So, I don't know. I threw like 12 of these really little Thai basil leaves in there. And, so then I'm kind of ready for the initial muddle. I think that it's nice to go ahead and get the gin in there to muddle with, so you have something to kind of do the extraction. So then this is going to be 3 ounces since it's a drink and a half. Whoops, it's not quite full, is it? 1. And there's 3.
Don't be skimping.
So there's your 3 ounces, and then we might as well go ahead and just like kind of get our other ingredients in there. I'm gonna wait on the lime and muddle it after I've muddled the other ingredients, because if you throw a couple of lime wedges in there, it's gonna get pretty hard to muddle. What they call for is 1 wedge, which would be like a quarter of a half, but man, I liked it with more and did a second one last night, because just for science, and moved it up to a half of a lime, and so this is about 60% of a lime because it's a drink and a half. So we're gonna hold off a minute to get that in there. And then we're going to slide our 3 rambutan, all the flesh from 3 of them seeded, in there, along with the gin and the galanga and the lemongrass and the basil leaves. And so kind of everything's in there except of our simple syrup. And they recommended what they call gum syrup, which is gum arabic. And it's an ingredient I'm pretty familiar with. People like it in wine, and it adds kind of like viscosity and mouthfeel. I like this drink with part simple syrup and part orgeat. So I'm going to add those in. I might as well get those in there too then. So we're just going to go, which side, there it is. So we'll go about a 1/4 ounce of orgeat. So it calls for a 1/2 ounce for a drink of simple syrup, gum simple syrup. So we're drinking a drink and a half, so it's going to be 3/4. So we're just going to make it up with our 2 ingredients to be 3/4. There it is. And by using a little tiny bit of the orgeat, it is going to change it from a clear drink to this kind of slightly milky thing, but it really made it taste great last night in the second version. So now that everything is ready, we're just going
Good to be in the gin business.
really muddle the heck out of the basil and the galanga and get that lemongrass out. Yeah. Oh, am I putting a lot of pressure on the table? Couldn't imagine flipping the whole table over. This is kind of like curry, man. It takes a little bit of work to get all the goodness out of the ingredients, right? Like they put it in a mortar and pestle, right? So we could have made a paste out of this and put it in there, but I think this is nice. So, man, yeah, it smells really good. I mean, everything in there is fragrant, right? Thai basil is crazy fragrant, lemongrass is fragrant, and then you get the galanga, and it makes a surprisingly refreshing drink. So everything is in there except the lime. So now we're going to toss those in, and we've got the ends of the limes cut off, which are bitter, but we've included, like I said earlier, 60% of the lime, and we're going to really work that in there because we're not only getting the juice out, but we're expressing the oils from the rind. Mm-hmm. So it's like a little bit of zest, and it does add a little bit of structure, which is nice. So that's all kind of in the works. And then we're going to give it a shake without ice, just to kind of mix and incorporate the ingredients. That being done, drink is ready. We're just going to take some crushed ice that we made, just, chucking some ice in our blender. We're going to fill this glass up. Pretty nice and full. There we go. And when they made this drink in the recipe, the first version I did, I followed the recipe ingredients. They left all the ingredients in. And then they put the crushed ice in and then said to use a straw, and when we did that, it kept getting clogged up with all the little bits of galanga and lemongrass, and it really didn't work. But we loved the flavor, so the next version we did, we went ahead and double strained it into a glass, and that worked out really awesome. So there we go. And it's got that slight green color, from the basil, and I did up the basil this time because I thought that would even be better. just to get all the ingredients out, I'm just going to shake it a couple times. Patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's still some good stuff in there. So just going to kind of work it through to make sure I get it all out. I'm surprised that it clogged, but it's a fine strainer. Okay, there we go. That's looking pretty good. And then just so that we're fixing our level and coming up a bit high with the ice. There we go. And then the garnish for this drink is our gorgeous Thai basil. But it's not supposed to have a flower, but I mean,
That's pretty.
doesn't that look pretty? I mean, I like it that way, just to make it look kind of nice. And then even a little bit to reinforce the lime. And this is the, I guess since I only could find reference to Banga 1, which is made in Serious Eats followed, I forget the name of the bar, sorry, that does this this drink and kind of invented this drink. But this is Banga 2, I guess.
No, how about Ginny Bang Bang?
Okay.
Sorry. No, that's from the Chitty Bang Bang. That's from
Yeah. And so now you don't need a straw either.
Right,
so,
exactly. So I did forget to put the orange bitters. I'm going to put 3 little dots of the orange bitters of Flora Luna. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right.
Yahoo.
Yeah, indeed. So
2 very different seasonal cocktails.
Yeah, very different indeed. So let's, shall we?
Yeah.
So actually, this is our 25th live stream.
Oh boy.
So happy silver anniversary to us.
So that's 50 drinks plus, but I think sometimes we did
Probably
3,
more,
so there's
yes,
probably closer
exactly.
to 60.
So we've got quite the repertoire now.
We've used all
haven't
our
we?
tricks, and so now we're actually having to learn new stuff.
We'll figure out some. Yeah, no, it's good.
That's the silver lining.
And we've actually been together for 25 years as well. Gosh, it's amazing, isn't it? Okay, let's have a drink.
Well,
On that note-
thank God COVID didn't last 25 years. It was just 25, cocktail making sessions. All right.
Okay. Here we go. Cheers. Happy fall, everybody. Here's to the holidays coming up. We'll have some more holiday cocktails for you. We'll have some more Thanksgiving and then obviously some Christmas stuff as well. So cheers to you guys. And here's to the cooler weather. And thank goodness for the rain too. All right. Cheers, honey.
Cheers, man.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. See you next week.
Ooh. Okay. One slight adjustment. I couldn't really read. Maybe I only need a half ounce.
You want me to stay on?
Oh, I thought we were off.
I was like,
At least I didn't
what's
take.
he doing?
At least I didn't take my trousers off or something like that. Hey, honey. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.